All right, what's going on, guys? So today we're going to be welding up the diff for the Datsun, the R200. So I spent a little bit of time cleaning it. There's a lot of rust on it, so I went ahead and took the wire wheel and knocked the rust off. And I filmed that a little while ago, so I'm going to go ahead and insert that now. Okay, so now that the diff is pretty much clean, I got it up on the welding table, and yeah, I'm just gonna weld all the spider gears together, put a plate in it on both sides, and weld her up. I want this thing to be locked, and don't need a high horsepower car with an open diff. So yeah, I could put a limited slip in there, but those are very expensive, and I mean, they can break too, so just weld it up. Gotta save some money. So first thing, I'm gonna go ahead and unbolt these, just make it a little bit easier to maneuver around. And I'm also pretty curious to see what kind of gears are in there. There's probably some marking on here somewhere that you guys know about. I don't. I just know that there's a marking on the gears. I'm curious to see what kind of gears I got whenever I open this thing up. So. Alright, I wanted to show you guys before I took the arms off, but I forgot. See how I'm spinning that way forward and the other side's moving backward? Yeah, we don't want that. We want them to go the same direction. Alright, so got the diff up here, got the half shafts off, and yeah, I'm ready to pull the plug on the bottom of the diff so I can let it drain. I'm really not sure how much is going to come out. I got this bottle here. Hopefully that's enough. But I was looking at this and I was like, yeah, you can kind of see it's a little dark, but that square, I was like, I don't have any square bolts or sockets to get this off. And then somebody told me that it's a 1/2 inch like extension. So I was like, what? But sure enough, it's a 1/2 inch extension that goes in there, and that's how you break it loose. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that and drain it. Alright, so what you saw there was kind of a mess. So for some reason, this air impact, this 1/2 inch one, whenever you plug it in, it just literally starts spinning. So I'll just attach the air to it. I don't know why it does that, but that's the only air impact a 1/2 inch we got. So I just used that. I figured I'd undo it and then undo the bolt and then pull it off and then do it by hand, but I don't know what I was thinking. I just kept going, and then yeah, I made a mess. So I'm gonna clean this all up and then I'll see you after it's clean.
After all that we've been through, I think it's fair from me to you. Watch it burn as we soar away. After all.
Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and get this all cleaned out. I've got some degreaser here, and I've got some other stuff like brake cleaner. I'm gonna spray up in there, get all the old oil out, get it nice and clean, and we'll be welding the spider gears up. I'm still trying to find out markings to find out what gear ratio it is, but I'll probably just end up having to count and find out that way. Okay, so I ended up getting everything cleaned up, all nice and clean in there. There was like some kind of residue coating over a lot of the parts, so I used kind of like a wire brush and cleaned it up, but it's looking pretty clean now. I also did find the numbers that I was looking for. Probably can't see them in the camera. It's kind of hard for me to even read them, but it's 39 by 11. So you take the 39 divided by 11. So I have the 3.5 gear ratio, which is good for the highway and top end. But it would be nicer to have a little bit taller gears in the car for quicker acceleration down low, just because the R154 is a 6-speed. So it is what it is. And I was also looking at getting an actual LSD for this. I was doing a lot of research here recently, looking at prices and install and reviews, and you know, I mean, they're nice and all, and I wish I could afford one, but you know, I've spent a lot more money on this than what I would have liked. So this is probably going to be that area where I cheap out and get something, well, weld it rather than buy the actual part. So it is what it is. I got to save some money. So in the future, I'll probably get some taller gears and an actual LSD. But for right now, to get the car on the ground and get it to do basically what I need it to do, it'll be fine. And then I'll definitely upgrade that later. That is definitely on the list to upgrade, and I'll get something nice. But for right now, I need to get the car going. I need to get it on the ground and moving. I'm just going to go ahead and weld it. So we're going to go ahead and get a piece of metal. I think I've got some 1/4-inch plate, and I'm going to cut it and get it to fit in between those gears.
And I know I am the one. I have waited here forever. But all I know is what I'm told. This feeling cannot be controlled.
Okay, so I got a little square piece of metal here cut out. It's a little bit less than a 1/4-inch plate. This should be good enough. So you're just going to go ahead and just toss this in there. And since I don't have two hands to hold it in there, it's not going to stay up. But it's kind of just going to rest in there. Kind of like that. But it's going to be, yeah, it's not going to be so far deep in the back. It's just kind of falling down. But it's going to sit right there, and it's going to touch all the gears. But first we're going to weld each corner. And then we do that on both sides, and then we'll put this plate in there and weld it to each one of the gears all the way around. So do the best I can getting a video of it. Okay, so just got the 4 corners all welded up. I'll try and get a decent angle for you guys. You see that top left, everything in there. Obviously, it's not going to be super pretty, but yeah, she's welded. So I'm going to go ahead and put the plate in there and get the plate welded in. Actually, I'm going to flip it over, do the other side, and then we'll do the plate. All right, so this side looks a little bit better. Always got to keep improving. So try and get you in there. Can't see too good on the camera, but it's hard to get up in that top left corner, but everything else welded together pretty good. So now I'm going to go ahead and try and clean most of that slag out before I weld the plates in. Okay, so it's all cleaned up, and there's the plate sitting in there. I'm going to go ahead and get it tacked in over on this right side, and then I'll take the hammer and knock it a little bit closer, and then just weld all the way around it as best I can. Okay, so I've got like each one of the teeth that directly touches my piece of metal. I've got each one of those welded up. So now I'm going to go on in between each one and fill them to make a like a perfect fill all the way around. All right, so I just got done welding that plate in, and she's not pretty by any means, but I've seen a lot worse. And you know, it's a diff. You got to weld it up. So try and take some of the glare off. Not that much. There you go. So that's pretty much it. I know it's kind of brown in the middle, but that's just because you know, it's not all clean metal. All those gears aren't perfectly clean, and there's probably still a little bit of oil in there. So that got brown, but you can see where my welds are. Basically filled all the holes everywhere, and got it filled in, welded all the way around, except that top left corner. Can't get that one in, but all the other corners are welded up. So now I'm going to go ahead and clean out the slag before I spin it over, and then we'll weld up the other side.
You carry the world upon your shoulders, for I'm not the only one. How could
All right, so here is the other side all welded up. Everything is still super hot to touch, even the case. But yeah, there it is. Looks a little bit better than the other side. Kind of spin it over a little bit. Yeah, I also welded along the side of it, like those side gears to this kind of ring, this box here. Also did that. Not that it's really necessary, but why not? Yeah, so it is all welded in. Don't expect it to break. This is my second diff that I've welded. The first one's still holding up. So yeah, I wish I didn't have to weld it, but you know, it works. Hopefully while it lasts. Hopefully it lasts long enough for me to save up some money and get a real LSD. But yeah, it's done, you know. So now I'm gonna clean all the slag out, make sure there's no little balls around that could get in between the gears, mess it up. Clean all that out, and then, you know, fill it with oil, make sure it spins, make sure everything's good, and I mean, put it in the car, wait for it to roll around. You're going to want to change the fluid after about 50 miles. So if any slag and stuff is in there after those 50 miles, it'll come out, so it won't ruin it. Obviously I got a little ways to go before I'm doing another change on it, but I'll have to remember to do that when I do get it going. So yeah, I'll just put some gasket maker around the diff, and fill it with some oil, and we're gonna start putting the rear end together. So, you know, it's super close to being able to roll around, and when it gets on the ground, the plan is to start on the 1J. So I'm gonna get the 1J over here, start tearing it apart, freshen it up a little bit, and fit it in the car. So super happy about that, and this diff was needing to be welded so I can get this rear end put together. So yeah, stay tuned. I appreciate you guys watching. Leave some comments down below. Anything you like, see, recommendations. I like to hear it all. So let me know how your build's going. All right, see you in the next one.